What is up, everybody? Back with a new video here, and today I'm going to be talking about the M3 Rock Festival. I did just drive up there to see it, was there all 3 days, saw all 20 bands, so I'm going to be talking about how the festival was run, the crowd, how the bands were, give a mini review on every single band. So, starting things off, I drove 10 hours up there, long drive, but I was happy to be at this festival to see some live music. Friday night, first night, there was 4 bands. First thing, the people running the festival didn't do a very good job at first because there was one person working will call, huge line of people waiting for their tickets. I ended up missing half of the first band's set because there was only one person working in there and she wasn't going very fast. So a bunch of people ended up missing some of the Iron Maidens, which was unfortunate because the Iron Maidens are fantastic. But one other interesting thing, I was standing in will call and Don Jamieson and Jim Florentine were just standing right there at the front. So I met Jim, took a picture with him. He was pretty cool. But, so when I finally got in there, the Iron Maidens, they played really well, what I saw. I only saw the last couple songs. Hallowed Be Thy Name was amazing. The singer, I think her name's Kristen, does fantastic. Sounds very similar to Bruce. So if you ever get to see the Iron Maidens, go do it because they're awesome. After that was a band called Tokyo Motor Fist, who replaced Heaven's Edge, who was originally supposed to play, but they had to back out because somebody was sick. But Tokyo Motor Fist, I'm not the biggest fan of. They've got good musicians. Greg Smith was playing bass, who I'm a big fan of. He plays in Ted Nugent's solo bands, been with a lot of people, so it's cool to see him. Ted Poley on vocals from Danger Danger, who I've never been the biggest Danger Danger fan, but he's a pretty good singer. And Steve Brown on guitar, who he shreds. He's in Trickster. He's filled in with Def Leppard before, so the guy can definitely play. Just overall, I didn't care for their songs all that much personally, so it was okay, but didn't really love it. Then after that was Slaughter, who was fantastic. They've actually got 3/4 of their classic lineup. Mark still sounds really good on vocals. The only guy they're missing, unfortunately, is Tim Kelly, who passed away in 1998 in a car crash, so RIP to him, but rest of the band was really good. So overall, that was my second time seeing them. Good stuff. I would definitely see them again. Then after that was Kix, who, second time seeing them. It's been 5-6 years since I've seen Slaughter or Kix, so good to see them again. Kix got a lot of energy. Of course, everybody's getting old. Their singer, Steve Whiteman's like 64, 65, but he was still running around, still sounds good. So overall, that was a good set as well. But my favorite of the night was probably Slaughter, and then the Iron Maidens, then Kix, and then Tokyo Motor Fist. So the second day, Saturday, July 3rd, started at noon. First band on was Enuff Z'Nuff. I was there in time to see that, and I've never been the biggest fan of this band. I looked their stuff up. Somehow they've got like 15 albums. I was surprised that they've got that many. Didn't think they did, but they sounded good. Everybody was playing their instruments fine. The singer, Chip Z'Nuff, still sounds pretty good, so I'm not going to say too much negative stuff. Just personally, I've never been the biggest fan of them, so didn't love the sets. And then after that was Hurricane, who were really good. They don't have their classic singer. I know it's kind of divided on a lot of these bands because a lot of them are missing key members, but they were missing their classic singer. But the guy they had was really good, was hitting some high notes, sounded fantastic. They've actually got their classic guitar player still, who is the younger brother of Rudy Sarzo, which is really cool. And they've got Carlos Cavazzo's younger brother playing bass. So some pretty notable guys in this band. Younger brothers are notable guys. They played good. The song Hurricane has a fantastic riff, which was cool to see. So pretty good set. And then after that was Bullet Boys, who are not missing any key members. They've got their whole classic lineup. I did just see Bullet Boys about 3 or 4 months ago, early April, I think, with Winger and Firehouse. That time, they weren't really that good. I didn't care for it. But this time, they were on. They were maybe feeling the bigger crowd, and that's something else I guess I'll talk right now, too. The crowd wasn't full, even close to full. It was like half full. So at max, probably half full. But still, that's a couple thousand people. So pretty decently big crowd for some of these bands. Bullet Boys were on. They played a lot of the classic songs, Hard as a Rock, Smooth Up In Ya, Shoot the Preacher Down. So that was nice to see. Good set. Then after that was, after Bullet Boys was Steelheart. And thing with Steelheart, Miljanko, obviously, he's an amazing singer. Still sounds good. Was hitting some of the high notes. Just their set was not very good for me. They left off Can't Stop Me Loving You, which I think is easily their best song. I don't understand how they don't play that. Miljanko's the only classic guy in the band. So I wouldn't see them again. After that was Steven Adler from Guns N' Roses. Now, his band put on an amazing set. The band he has, really good. The guitar players had Izzy and Slasher stuff down pretty freaking well. You know, the solos, the riffs, the tone, all good. The singer, especially, he sounded, looked, and moved exactly like Axl Rose did back in the day. You had to look twice or else you think it was freaking Axl Rose up there. I think this guy was from Argentina. Great frontman. I forget what his name is, but he was really good. And then Steven on the drums. You know, he didn't have a ton of energy. He played fine. You know, that's all I'll say. He's a nice guy and all. So overall, the set was good, but he didn't like put on, like, he talked a little bit to the crowd. There's another guy I'm going to talk about that's a drummer we'll get to in a few, who didn't interact with the crowd at all. But Steven, at least he said some stuff, was trying to be kind of entertaining, so that was nice. Then after that was Winger, who, of the whole weekend, I think they were probably my second most enjoyed set, possibly my favorite band out of these 20 bands. It's close between a few, but Winger, they were amazing as usual, put on a top-tier display of shred and musicianship. All around, everybody, top-tier musicians. Kip, fantastic songwriter. His voice still sounds good. Reb Beach on freaking guitar, and John Roth. Both are amazing. Reb is one of my favorites of all time. They played a lot of the classic songs, some newer songs that I like a lot, and it was kind of funny. Kip, he's talking, he's like, yeah, this guy here, he's talking about Reb, he's like, he's been in Dokken, Whitesnake, all these bands, but he started with me, so he was joking around. And then he's like talking about how Reb can just make up riffs like nothing, like that. And so he's like, Reb, give me a riff in C or whatever. And he just made this amazing riff just randomly on the spot. So that was pretty sick. But Winger, yes, A+ set. Go see him if you get a chance. Then after that was my favorite band of the night, of the whole weekend, Accept. They were heavy, they were loud, they were tight. The riffing, the tone, everything from Wolf Hoffman was amazing. Dude is a great guitar player. Hearing Balls to the Wall live is just amazing. Fast as a Shark. They played a lot of the newer songs, too, from the new album, which is really good. The fast, heavy songs live. And that's the thing about Accept. They are heavier than all these other bands on the bill, and this is primarily like a glam metal type festival, so I think some of the older people in there weren't really feeling Accept. You could absolutely noticeably tell the crowd thin out when Accept came on. I don't know if people just went out to smoke, drink beer, talk on the outside part of the pavilion, but that was unfortunate because Accept deserves to have everybody in there. But I really enjoyed it. Fantastic to see. So absolutely would and will go back if they ever come near me again or within driving distance. So Queensryche, they closed out Saturday night. They were the headliner. I was a bit skeptical about seeing Queensryche with this current incarnation. No Jeff Tate, no Chris DeGarmo, no Scott Rockenfield. All they've got is Michael Wilton and Ed on the bass. Original, guys from 1980, I think they formed. So that's a long time. But Todd Torre, however his name's pronounced, he does do a good job on vocals. I ended up liking, the set. They played the classic songs, Queen of the Reich, Walk in the Shadows, Jet City Woman, all that stuff. Some newer songs, which I don't really care for all that much, but overall, it was a good set. One of my probably top 5 most enjoyed bands of the weekend. And then moving on to Sunday, July 4th, I was there early. I got there at like 11:45, so I was like 45 minutes before the first band. I was sitting in there, but Little Caesar came on at 12:30, and this is a band formed in the late 80s. They had some albums in the early 90s, 90, 92. They've released stuff since then, but a couple classic albums that are okay. Never really been the biggest fan of this band. The freaking capacity of the crowd was like 20% when they were playing, so barely anybody in there, which is kind of sad, but whatever. I mean, it's Little Caesar. They're an okay band. Set was okay. They reminded me of like AC/DC a little bit at times, but not a bad set. And then after that was Pretty Boy Floyd, who I was really, really pleasantly surprised with. I do have Leather Boys with Electric Toys on cassette tape, which is pretty sick. Album covers pretty badass and funny. But yeah, they were good. Steve Summers on vocals, the classic original frontman, still sounds fantastic. He still looks presentable. He doesn't look like a big fat slob up there that's out of shape, which I think we all know who we're talking about here. But he actually made some like politically incorrect jokes, was talking trash about Vince Neil a little bit, throwing shade, which was kind of funny. Like after the first or second song, he's like, finally, still a singer from the 80s that can sing, talking about himself, which he could still sing. He sounds just like he did back in the day, over 30 years ago. And, you know, then he started talking about Vince Neil after that. He's like, Vince, not really in the best of shape these days. What the heck's going on or something? And I think if for some reason Motley Crue was gonna replace Vince, I would say get Steve Summers, dude. He still sounds, looks good. He freaking could easily do the Motley Crue songs. So he's kind of has like a similar voice to Vince, but he actually can still sing. So yeah, good band, good set. Pretty Boy Floyd. Go see them if they come to your area. After that was Faster Pussycat, another band I was pleasantly surprised with. Usually I'm not the biggest fan of this band, but Tammy Me Down on vocals was good. There was some nice shredding, like dual guitar, classic hard rock feel to them, kind of bluesy a little bit. But yeah, they were good for sure. I would definitely see them again as well. Then after that was Riley's LA Guns. I was mentioned earlier, another drummer I was going to talk about. Steve Riley, he did not interact with the crowd at all. He looked like a corpse up there. I mean, he's like 65, so I don't know how much energy he has left, but this is the other version of LA Guns, Riley's LA Guns. One has Phil and Tracy, which when we're talking about LA Guns, I don't care who else is in the band. I want Phil Lewis on vocals. He's the voice. He's amazing. So I did see them in 2015. I can't remember if Steve Riley was in the band at that point, but Phil Lewis was fronting the band. Tracy wasn't in the band, so I imagine that Steve Riley must have been in the band at that point when I saw him the first time. But Phil, he's the man. He's got to be there when I want to see LA Guns. But this version has Steve and Kelly Nichols on bass, who's the classic bass player. The frontman was okay. He kind of was trying to look like Phil, I think, and obviously he's trying to act like Phil and sound like Phil. But he was all right. Steve Riley, I do have respect for him. You know, he's played on some of my favorite albums of all time, particularly with Wasp, The Last Command, Inside the Electric Circus. Those are some of my favorite albums of all time. He was on the second LA Guns album, Cocked and Loaded. He played on one song on the first one, but but the second album is amazing, Cocked and Loaded. He's played on a lot of LA Guns albums through the years. Tales from the Strip, which is a mid-2000s one, I like a lot. But at this point, I think LA Guns needs to be one band, and that is with Phil and Tracy. But yeah, I probably wouldn't see them again. Lita Ford was next, and you know, she was pretty good. Her band was on fire. Bobby Rock on the drums, who is a classic guy. He's like late 50s, still in really good shape, did an awesome drum solo. He's still back there without a shirt on, freaking swole. That's another guy, freaking, he stayed in shape, still sounds really good. The guitar player that plays with Lita, forgetting his name, but he was really good. He sung some songs as well that were, you know, he has an amazing voice, and that guy was just a great musician. Overall, good set. And then after that was Great White. Now, Great White's another band I'm kind of divided on. I love Mark Kendall, one of my favorite guitar players, has great tone, but friggin' Jack Russell is one of my favorite singers. He is the voice of Great White, so I really wanted him to be there, but obviously he's not. The guy they used to have the XYZ singer, which is who I saw in 2015 when I first saw Great White, but the guy they have now, I'm forgetting his name, but he's an older guy. He's been there since the early 90s. I'll put his name in because I'm forgetting it, but he was pretty good. Just for me, dude, it's got to be Jack Russell. He's the voice, but it was still cool to hear some of the riffs from Mark. Again, he's got amazing tone. One of my favorites, Lady Red Light. Love that riff when it breaks in. So that was okay that was cool to see. The set overall was just okay, but would I see them again? If it wasn't crazy expensive, I probably would. But I want to see Jack Russell's Great White because he has his own version of Great White and love his voice. So decent sets. And then after that was Warrant, second last band of the night. And Warrant is really loud. They were heavy, you know, heavier than you'd expect on the heavy songs. They have a lot of ballads, which get a little bit annoying for me. A couple times during the ballads, I went to the bathroom. I think during the last song, which was Cherry Pie, I just got up and went to get a drink, some Pepsi. But that's just a song that's annoying to me at this point. But loved seeing Uncle Tom's Cabin. That riff, super heavy. Just the song overall is amazing. And they've actually got 4/5 of their classic lineup, which obviously they don't have Janie Lane. He passed away, RIP. But Robert Mason has been in the band since 2008, so before Janie Lane died. And he's really good on vocals. So, yeah, it was a good set. I would definitely see them again. And then to close out the night, the headliner was Night Ranger, my second time seeing them. Good band, I like them. You know, Brad Gillis on guitar, freaking shreds. great player. Jack Blades on vocals and bass. I'm a big fan of. Love Damn Yankees. So that was a good set. Rumors in the Air. Love that intro that Brad is doing on the guitar, like turning it up and down. Just super cool. But yeah, so overall, this was a pretty good little festival. The lineup was pretty depleted from what it was originally supposed to be. Just remembering off the top of my head, Rat was originally supposed to be there. Tesla, Doro, Dangerous Toys, Heaven's Edge, who backed out last second. But yeah, I don't really understand why a lot of these bands didn't play, because all of them except for Doro, who I understand she got to come from Germany. It's hard to do right now. But like Tesla and Rat, like, bro, y'all are here. Like, why didn't you play? But yeah, overall decent. Looking for next year. Eddie Trunk was hosting it, and he said that it's going to be back next year. There's some rumors it's supposed to be pretty big or something. He's going to release the lineup when he hears it, but I'll be looking for that. Hopefully I'll be at some more festivals pretty soon. And I don't know if I mentioned this already, but there was like 7 people came up to me and recognized me, so they love the channel. That was freaking awesome. So thanks to all y'all. It's really cool, and it's kind of weird and funny to me too. And it's just cool people recognize me now. It's pretty sick. But yeah, let me know what y'all thought of the festival if you were there. What do you think about all these bands continuing on without key members? There's only a couple of them that have all their original classic guys. So yeah, until next time, thank you for watching.